Hey everyone, welcome to Industry Headlines. Kevin Kauffman and Fred Weaver, and this is the show where we talk about what's happened in the last 7 days in the real estate world. So let's give you the headline and then we'll dive in and talk about them. So NAR has been mulling a pocket listing policy that's gaining a lot of conversation around the industry. Yeah. We'll jump in and talk about that. Realogy has teamed up with AARP to launch a rewards platform. This just comes a couple months after a partnership with Amazon. So they got a lot of activity going on with partnerships right now. Also, OfferPad just launched what they call OfferPad Choice. Speaking of launches, we also launched something recently called iMinute, a specific podcast around the iBuyer space. So we actually talk more about OfferPad Choice on that particular episode that we just released a week or so ago.
Yeah, you can find that here anywhere you listen to podcasts, any podcast app, every single Wednesday and Friday. We'll be bringing to you our iMinute because we're in it. We're in Phoenix and it'll only be about a minute.
And the last headline for you this week, Kevin Kauffman and Fred Weaver have launched their referral guarantee program.
Yeah, so check this out.
Go to
kevinandfred.com/guarantee. That's kevinandfred.com/guarantee. Here's the deal. We sell real estate. We don't just create podcasts. And we would love nothing more than to be able to service your referral. So do us a favor, go to kevinandfred.com/guarantee. It's a guarantee because number one, we're going to get the deal closed and we're going to guarantee to communicate with you all the way through the progress. So you're not wondering what's going on with your referral. So
that's a big deal. And I guarantee not all of you know we sell real estate in the Phoenix, Arizona market and a couple others. So you should consider us in Phoenix, Arizona and a few other markets. Check out kevinandfred.com/guarantee. All right, let's talk about NAR and this MLS pocket listing policy. You and I have a few opposing opinions on this. So why don't you start with yours?
Well, I don't want to say this is my opinion. What I'm saying is I understand where they're coming from, right? So the spirit of this is to make sure that homeowners are not being taken advantage of, I believe, right?
Okay.
So meaning, okay, so I go take a listing and I decided I'm not going to put it on the MLS and I'm just going to keep, I'm going to keep all the buyers to myself. And therefore, what could happen is I don't open it up to the most amount of money possible, or at least the best offer possible, because I keep it to a limited number of potential buyers. The more buyers I have, the better possibility I have of getting more money or whatever a better offer looks like to that homeowner. So I think that's the spirit of it, which I certainly understand, because I'm just going to be honest. I know some agents that I don't trust that definitely do that and take advantage of their sellers because they can have an easy deal. Maybe there's a back-end agreement for them, things like that.
Fair enough. So you see the spirit of kind of where like a Bright MLS, one of the nation's larger MLS systems, came out recently, and one of the guys that works for them said the center of the policy for Bright MLS, right? Because NAR hasn't like come out and said this is across the board, but some MLSs are starting to do that. But Bright MLS said, like, they believe the practice of marketing properties off the MLS, known as pocket listings, puts brokers' own interests before consumers while creating the appearance of and enabling fair housing law violations. Okay, so you're kind of along the lines that I hear the spirit of that. So here's my counter argument to that, right? If we're going to enact a rule that basically most real estate agents have to follow because they're members of the MLS board, that therefore then impacts what a consumer's choice is, then I think we've completely taken consumer choice out of the option here, and we're only playing the realtor game. What I mean by that is if the MLS says I have to participate this way, then as an agent, I can't even give my a choice to the seller to say, would you like to go right to the MLS, or would you like to consider some of these other off-market, off-MLS options that I happen to have? And see, that's where I come from, is if you do this correctly, a real estate agent should be empowered to present all available options to sell a home on behalf of the homeowner, and let the homeowner decide which option they feel is in their best interest. But by enacting a policy that then disables me from presenting that at the homeowner's table, I have a little bit of an issue with that. I get the spirit of the rule. I just, if people are doing stuff that's wrong, then stop freaking taking their dues every year and get rid of them.
It's hard for me to argue this other side because I so strongly believe in the fact that there are agents that don't do what's best for their clients, unfortunately, right? And so we've got to find a way, and maybe this is a way, and there are even some homeowners that quite frankly just don't know their options, and maybe they shouldn't be left to their own devices. Now, granted, it's their American right? It's their right as a U.S. citizen to do that. And as realtors, we have to be held to a higher standard. We're licensed by our states, right? We've got, in most cases, we're a realtor, so designation from NAR, and there has to be a higher standard. So how do we how do we make sure that that happens? How do we enforce that higher standard, if you will?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe NAR and the boards come in and clean up the documents that have to be signed by a seller to have a pocket listing, as an example, right? But here's my mentality. If I'm a seller and let's say I'm in a tight cash situation, right? Yes, going to open MLS, maybe you come into my house and you say, I'll offer this commission percentage. However, I have this other option and I know you're going to buy for cash. If you would like to give me a week or two to implement my off-market marketing strategy over here, I do a reduced commission in that particular situation for people, which could put more money in your pocket because I know you're concerned about fees. Now, I can't guarantee that we'll get an offer that's the same amount or higher than we would on the open MLS, but what I can guarantee is that my fees are lower if we don't go on the open MLS and you allow me the opportunity to market your property off MLS. So I'm just presenting you as a consumer and a homeowner with options there, right? And letting you make that decision. So I get it. We're now into a little bit of creative, non-traditional real estate, which NAR and boards freak out about, as do most real estate brokers. But this is all about consumer choice. And what we're going to see is if, as an institution, I think NAR, Realtors, which I am one of, if we just continue to try to box things in and say, this is the box, it's tighter and tighter, tighter. Meanwhile, all the options out there from iBuyers and all these companies that aren't Realtors are more free in their offerings, I think we may be putting ourselves in a bad situation.
That could be. It'd be interesting to see what happens, because I think this is part of the fuel, if you will, behind like Zillow and Opendoor and OfferPad and some of the stuff that they're doing. It's issues like this that they can use it, quite frankly, against us. So I think that in a lot of ways, this could be NAR's, not necessarily that they believe it should happen this way too, but they could also be looking at, they're trying to save us from ourselves.
If I'm Opendoor, and maybe I'm giving them an idea right now, but this policy gets enacted in most MLSs or across the country, my new program to homeowners is, we'll list your home and, we'll only charge you X%. We don't put it on the MLS the first go around, right? Like, because we're not members of the board.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be, right? Or somebody comes out, some other niche with another company comes out and says, we can do this, this, and this.
Hey, do me a favor, go apply for a job at Opendoor so that way we can have an income just in case this thing doesn't work.
Okay, I don't know.
Anyways,
on that note, though, there's choices going on out there. You mentioned the OfferPad Choice program. What that is, just real briefly, and go listen to iMinute, but that's just a company that's saying, hey, look, we'll either buy your home, or if you don't like our offer, we'll list it for you with lots of other perks and benefits, and it's not traditional. We go listen to iMinute. I argue if it really is traditional or not. But tell us a little bit about Realogy.
All right, so Realogy teams up with AARP to launch a new reward platform for seniors. I'm going to avoid the obvious joke here, okay? So I want everyone to know I'm using all of my conscious restraint right now to avoid telling the obvious joke. But here it is. It's a new cashback reward platform, and it's another way for the company to generate leads for its client or for its agents. It's no stranger. Big part of the Realogy business model is the in-house lead generation, right? They've got the Zip Realty. Now they had the thing with USAA that went away earlier this year, but then they brought in the Amazon partnership.
Don't they also own?
Yes, Cardis.
Cardis, as well. Thank you.
So some of the relocation companies as well. So that's a lot of what they do within their brand, and it's that company-generated business that really brings a lot of revenue in for them. Yep. So this is another way to do it. I get it. I like it. What I see here, just like rose-colored glasses, is a company going, hey, what's another way? What's something else we can do that's sticky that we can do to go out and generate business for the agents under our umbrella? I like it.
Got it. Pretty cool. They mentioned in some articles that I read that that Realogy cited some studies that were done by NAR, right, about the amount of the population that's selling homes, and a good number of it is people that are qualified under AARP, right? Like
for sure.
They may not be an AARP member, but they could qualify for that membership, right? So you have a lot of home sellers in that bracket. So interesting to see. You're just seeing all this movement out there, right? Positioning, if you will. Where can we go get more leads? What can a different marketing message be? I think we should mention that the partnership includes cashback bonuses to folks who are AARP members who then sign up for the service. So it's actually putting cash back in their pocket. Now, there are some states where that is illegal, or you're unable to do that type of thing. You can't give a principal, buyer, or seller cash back at closing. And in that case, there's a commission reduction or a gift card or something of that nature. Pretty interesting stuff. I got, this isn't an industry headline for you, but I I got something in the news the other day that said if I did a loan through Loan Depot through American, and I'm as an American Express member, if I did a loan through Loan Depot, they would give me like $3,000 cash back. So it kind of, yeah, like if you ever get if you have American Express or another credit card, you get those benefits, you know, sign up here.
I didn't check my email this month from them.
Yeah, I was looking at that over the weekend or maybe Monday night or something like that. And I was like, interesting, right? So, no, it wasn't Loan Depot. I'm sorry. It was Quicken. Sorry. It was Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
That's how I think of Quicken's name every single time. I don't know why.
I don't like either.
That's how I go there. Anyway, go Lakers. Is that what you're going to say next? Okay. Thanks for joining us for Industry Headlines. We'll see you back here in a week. Have a great day.
Bye.